I've seen a lot of people overestimating the Dragon Ball universe and trying to scale it to our own universe. The great thing with fiction is that it's fiction. Not everything has to be realistic or in any way even relatable to our reality. However, when doing calculations, more often than not using our own reality as a basis is the easiest way to do so. And in the case of Dragon Ball, more often than not, people are trying to deny or debunk the facts the show is giving us and is calling it mistranslation or misinformation by the characters. In this video I'll be examining the actual size of the Dragon Ball universe. Then we can calculate some feats from characters more accurately. Let's start with one of the first, easiest and most efficient examples to calculate what we need: the Snake Way. It's stated that it's about 1 million kilometers long. It's curvy, but for this argument let's say it's straight, which gives us some space we need to work with in a minute. The Snake Way is also stated and shown in the data books that it's about half the universe in length. That's very little, but actually quite realistic considering other statements. But for comparison, the Milky Way alone has a diameter of 100 to 180,000 light years. So let's use the lower estimate of 100,000 light years. That still make a diameter of 950 trillion kilometers compared to Dragon Ball with 2 million kilometers of the universe. For even more perspective, here's the Sun, which has a volume of about 1.4 times 10 to the 18th power cubed. The Dragon Ball universe has 4.2 times 10 to the 27th power cubed, which is larger. Yes, of course it has to be, but if you calculate the Milky Way into a sphere, like the Dragon Ball universe is shaped like, that number becomes really insignificant, with the Milky Way being 4.5 times 10 to the 53rd power cubed, if it would be shaped like a sphere like in Dragon Ball. Other data books stated that the universe has only 4 galaxies, which seems plausible with the numbers this small. Here the space left by the curvy nature of the Snake Way comes in handy to give us some space in between those. It's confirmed in the Buu saga, when the Kai says the Buu destroyed a few hundred planets in a few years, and then the old Kai says that he's a threat to the entire universe. In our world, this would be insignificant at most, having approximately 100 to 400 billion solar masses, which are suns or stars, and approximately 100 to 200 billion galaxies in our universe. Destroying a few hundred planets in our universe would not even be a small dent. In Dragon Ball, on the other hand, that number is quite significant, within a universe this small. With the galaxies being so small, Buu being able to destroy one in a few years seems plausible. And then for the 4 galaxy statement would also confirm this, because then he would be a legit threat to all of existence. So this has been pretty consistent from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z to the end of DBC. So let's look at Super then. The Kai explains that there are 28 planets that contain life. Well, that fits perfectly within how small the universe has been consistently described as. I've seen a lot of people try to debunk this in particular, even though it's been consistent and confirming all the way since. It's a bias, because you try to take our own universe as a base to calculate from, instead of using all the facts established by Dragon Ball over the course of the show. Fiction doesn't have to be accurate, realistic or relatable to our own laws of physics. If it's properly explained, used and it's consistent within the own universe, it works just fine. You can stop trying to debunk these things now. The universe was structured this way since the beginning of DBC, it was shown this way at the end of DBC, and it's still consistent within Super now. Alright, so let's get into some feats. Now, having an impact on the entire universe is still incredibly impressive for Goku, and Champa and Beerus are able to destroy them by themselves. But taking the size into consideration, that wouldn't be universal when you scale them back to our universe or some universe similar like Marvel or DC. It would fit somewhere around Galaxy Buster, and as shown with the size difference when calculated up to a sphere to the Milky Way galaxy. Also, lifting feats like Vegeta not being able to lift 1,000 ton become more believable, but still are quite underwhelming. Okay, so let's get into the point I wanted to talk about the most: speed. Beerus was able to fly between galaxies when Whis was taking so long with some dinosaurs or something. In our universe, that would be a feat that's quadrillions of times faster than light. But seeing how the Dragon Ball universe is only 2 million kilometers in diameter, well, throwing these numbers into a calculator gives us a speed of 12.5 million meters per second. In comparison, light speed would be about 300 million meters per second. Again, that's been fairly consistent since the beginning of Dragon Ball altogether. When Krillin was fighting Roshi, they were so fast within the span of a second that they had to reenact what happened for the audience. That'd be more like about the speed of sound, which is 340 meters per second. Maybe more, but nowhere close to the speed of light. While Dispo, where we are right now, is stated to have surpassed speed of sound and speed of light. People were also losing their shit over this and trying to debunk this, but again, within these parameters, it makes perfect sense. Dispo increases his speed, his own speed by 1,000 times. Light speed is about 299 millimeters per second, so I used 300 million like before, so he has a slight edge and I have an easier number to work with. Divide that by 10 gets us to an easy 300k in base speed. That is very realistic within the show, still makes him immensely slower than a god, which, going by Beerus from before, we calculated 12.5 millimeters per second. Someone will point out the obvious examples where you can't deny that light speed was achieved early on, when Piccolo destroyed the moon near instantly with an energy blast. But, well, there it's already explained. Energy has no mass and can move at light speed. Just because Piccolo was able to throw an energy blast at light speed doesn't mean he himself can move that quickly, so no problems here. Energy-based attacks can certainly be light speed because of that. Alright, so if you want to debunk this, please use confirmed and consistent information that's shown within the show or official databooks. Don't try to scale the Dragon Ball universe off of our own. That doesn't work. With things like Marvel or DC that are obviously based on our own, that's easy. But here it's an entirely different set of parameters we have to work with, so calculating feats has to be done within those parameters the show is giving us to accurately calculate the level of power for those characters. If you have to do several debunk videos regarding those things that are shown or stated within the show just to hold on to your own belief of what the universe is like, then maybe you should rethink those beliefs and try to figure out why those things are explained and shown the way they are. I hope you liked this video and thanks for watching.